There we go. Hello, debombing boss, and welcome to your deck review. For those of you joining us on YouTube for the first time, this is a series where I, Maldhound, a known yeller and hater of all things you enjoy, will calmly and politely review your deck's PP, that being your premise and your practicum. Your premise is the idea behind your deck. For this deck, we've got a mono white stompy deck. And your practicum is the stuff you put in the 99 and whether or not it helps you achieve that. So necessary context for this deck, debombing boss plays with friends who like bracket 2, and they typically build bracket 3 decks. So we're trying to make this one bad on purpose, or at least bad enough that we're not jumping the table unexpectedly. So they're doing Tataru Taru for rage bait purposes. The way they've settled on trying to reach bracket 2 is they're going to build non-green decks that try to do green things. They're going to try to do stompy stuff outside of green. This would have been perfect for a competition we did on the stream, actually. But we have Tataru Taru in the command zone because they ramp us and they card draw us. And then when you cast Bahamut on turn 3, nobody sees that shit coming. So the way we get Bahamut on turn 3 is white has a couple 4-mana reanimate effects. And Tataru Taru, by drawing us a card, can make us discard to hand size on turn 2. So the goal is do nothing turn 1. Turn 2, play Tataru Taru, draw a card, discard, massive bomb, reanimated on turn 3 with the treasure, if we have false defeat, if we have breath of life. Now they gratefully, or I should say I'm grateful to them, own up to the fact that's probably not going to happen. Most of what we want to happen is we want to play Tataru Taru to get our card, get our treasure, maybe get extra treasures, and just get to these big boys about as quickly as we can. And so we have other card draw. Gosh, I love Thunder Junction, Draft Shaft. We have other card draw. We have interaction. We have pretty bad interaction. We have our card draw for more little group huggery. We have more ramp. We have the white ketchup ramp, Surveyor's Scope, Warring Triad. Hell yeah. Okay, I'm with that. We have a lot of recursion pieces, and then we have our top end, which is only 9. So one thing I would likely shout out as a problem is if we only have 9 pieces of top end, it is less likely that we are going to see, like, we're probably only ever going to see 1 every game. Maybe we see 2 because we have a card draw in the command zone, and maybe if we get to cast them just an awful lot, we'll get to see more. You might want to go up a couple of top end pieces, and some of this top end I wouldn't even call top end, right? Like Ao the Dawn Sky doesn't really do anything. Blazing Archon stops people from doing stuff to us, but he's not like, we don't get to slam him and be like, ha! We slam him and we're like, please, leave me alone. Versus, Elish Norn, the Eldrazi you have in here, Summon Bahamut, Knights of the Round. These are big, scary things that have to be answered, and it's fair to ask people to have the answers to them in bracket 2. Like, it's not, you're not going above bracket having them. So with that said, we probably only have, like 5 quality bombs, and we probably want more. And then something you talked about in the primer is like, we can gas out pretty hard if people don't give us an opportunity to put Tataru Taru back in the zone. And I don't know if you were just so tunnel visioned on like, I have to do the green thing that I can't do anything white's already good at. The question I would ask is, why aren't we flickering? Right? Like, we want to put Tataru Taru back in the zone. No, we don't. We want that bitch to enter. We want them to walk into the room. I'm avoiding the sex joke here because I'm a goddamn adult. But like, there's so much stuff white can do that can make Tataru enter in this revolving door fashion, and we get their triggers, we get to draw cards, we get to make a lot of treasures, to the point where I think you could cut like all of this card draw and just replace it with flicker spells, because those are also going to have the added benefit of many of our recursion pieces, or at least 3 of our recursion pieces, right? Karmic Guide, oh, not Rhea, Karmic Guide, Sun Titan, Artisan's a cast trigger. 3 of our recursion pieces have an ETB trigger. And if we go and look for other good bombs, I'm guessing we're probably going to be able to find at least one or two that are big white creatures that do a cool and big thing. And I think that is how you create the bridge between how am I doing green stompy, not in green, and how do I leverage what white is actually good at to make it like true stompy instead of right now it's like, yeah, I'm mono white stompy. I'm gonna play one 9-drop and then lose. We want to be a little bit more resilient than that. So instead of needing to block with our commander, we just say, okay, if I can block with my commander and just recast them for 4 mana, I'll do it. If I can't, goodbye, come back. Goodbye, come back. And there's a lot of ways we can double dip on that too. We can do oh, what is it? You can channel it to something the realm. Touch the spirit realm. There it is. So this is a removal piece, or we can flicker our commander. Great. Beautiful. So let's go to Scryfall Tagger and see if there's other stuff like that. But I think this solves your problem immediately. We're trying to figure out how do I reuse Tataru Taru more and more. And the answer is just we go all in on we're Taru maxing. I am Tataru pilled and I am Taru maxing. And I am doing so by spot removal. O-Tag Flicker Creature. This is probably like only touch the spirit realm. 19 cards! Alright, so All Fate Stalker will do it. We can warp them for 2 mana to flicker our commander. We can hard cast them for 4 mana to remove a problem. It looks like Angel of Condemnation does it. It looks like Battle at the Hell Vault does it and makes us a big creature, but we can't reanimate this. Getaway Glamour can do it. So I think you can replace all of your card draw, and I think you can replace a fair bit of your interaction with stuff like this. Like Parting Gust is good interaction. Oh, it's because we don't have it down to color white. Yeah. Color white. 15 still. Pretty good. This is a 5 mana sorcery, so it's not as accessible. Oh, dude, you get to play Unyielding Gatekeeper. Fucking come on. Come on. That's so dumb. You get to play an 18-cent, no, an 18-cent Murderic Karlov Manor Elephant and be like, yeah, and that's going to get me Bahamut, you know? How it goes. How it goes sometimes. It is 5 mana to do this, but like you can disguise it turn 3, right? If you don't have anything good in hand, you're like, oh, I need to keep drawing. You go to Taru Taru turn 2, play this guy disguise turn 3, flip him turn 4, boom. It's a Taru Taru card. So there's how many of these are good? There's Airbender Ascension, All Fate Stalker, which we have, Angel of Condemnation, which is really slow, but you may be able to get away with it. This doesn't work. Parallax Wave is pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Parting Gust, which we already have. Touch the spear. I'm trying to get just one big pile for you over here. And then Settle Beyond Reality is a little bit expensive, but you could do it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 things that will flicker, and most of them pull double duty as something else. Most of them pull double duty as short-term removal, long-term removal. Phenomenal. So then let's look at other things that will do creature flicker. And I'm going to do Commander White to get around some of these pesky trouble problems. Or pesky color problems. Like Ephemerate's very strong, obviously. Teleportation Circle, Philia. There's all the normal stuff. Eternal Wanderer is very potent, but is also very annoying. So I would go to normal flicker to just replace every goddamn thing in your card draw section. And I think the moment you do that, you are immediately much, much happier. And then I think the only fine tuning you have to do from there is you want to find other big white creatures that have an ETB effect. So let me look at advanced. I know you already told me. I spent a lot of time looking at big expensive creatures in white, and I have scientifically concluded that they're all bad. I do believe you. I think there are some that are going to look a lot better when we look at them through the lens of I might be able to get them to enter multiple times. The mana value greater than or equal to 5. Oh, and I didn't do creatures. Type creature. I think Mere Battlesphere gets a fair bit better, although they're not white, they're colorless. Uh Solitude definitely gets better, but it gets better by being infinitely more annoying. I think you have this one. You should keep this one in because I think this one does do the flicker thing, right? Yeah. Yeah. Wowza. Wowza cut this guy. Okay, so we had our eyes on the flicker thing a little bit. I think you just go all in on that. I think it works if you go all in on that. And then where are the okay. Other big creatures. We don't really care about proliferating. I think Overlord of the Mistmoors gets a little bit better, right? Like you can have them enter, and then next turn you can now swing with them. You can flicker them, so you can get 4 2/1s. That's 8 power every turn. Cavalier of Dawn is another good one, but it's good in the sense that it pisses everybody off. If we're doing this flicker stuff, Aang becomes a little bit better. I do want to be careful about we don't want to cut. It's not green stompy enough. Yeah, we don't want to put him in. Darksteel Splicer is making 3/3s, which is less bitch made than making 1/1s. That's meaningfully better, but I'm not quite sure it's all the way there. There's a sliver. We could venture into the dungeon. Wow, that's bad. There's Appa, who Appa is really just another very, very big flicker engine rather than a proper bomb. Yowza, that is so rough. You were so right, dog. I'm sorry I doubted you for even a moment. Man, fives, man, about you five's not enough. I'm getting a lot of just like worthless synergy creatures. Appa or another ally. Skyboon Evangelist is not a bad mid-tier thing. We can ramp into it relatively quickly. I don't know if our board gets wide enough for this to be good is the main problem with him. But he slams a lot of power onto the board. We need 6 different fucking creatures, my lord. Luminate Primordial fucking sucks. Good. Oh, good. A 7 mana 3/3. Fucking amazing. Oh, I am just in hell. I mean, Sally Pride's good, but the problem with Sally Pride is that she's doing the normal, like, mono white token strategy instead of, like, big mono white stompy thing. Oh, what can we do to achieve mono white Stompy? God. I feel like you might have to go. We don't have to fill in too many slots. I've seen now why we only had 5 real bombs and we had like 4 fake bombs. What you may want to do. Oh, this guy would be good. I've seen this guy in another deck. He'll get really stompy. He won't have trample, but like for most of the game, he'll get like plus 30, plus 20. That's huge. So we can have him, and the other way we could fill in gaps is we could do like the really, really dumb Final Fantasy equipment that wants to do the same thing. I think it's Ader, yeah, Ader and pre-win. You have the mana to afford this. Make Totaru Taru a 21, a 30-30. Swing, swing commander damage to Taru Taru at somebody. That's stompy. Um, and then I think you're good. I think you have a very small gap to close on the bombs, which is understandable given the constraints of your color. And I think the bit we've missed is just going all in on this flicker strategy because flicker covers so many bases for us. It's going to cover how do I draw cards? I flicker my cheap commander. How do I ramp? I flicker my cheap commander. How do I get more value out of my bombs? I flicker them. Like it is the glue that is going to tie all of this together. And I do think it is manageable without this feeling like a flicker deck, but to make it not feel like a flicker deck, you do have to be very, very careful with how many good ETBs you have. I think the like really good ETBs have to be mostly limited to Tataru Taru and your big bombs. And I think if you start doing like you start doing Ang, you start doing too many things like Solitude, the Cavaliers, all this other stuff that's going to give you value or removal when you flicker, it'll really quickly become white guy comes dot deck, and it won't be very fun. But I think you can manage that. So if anybody in the comments knows any good creatures we could put in this shithole, please let me and this deck builder know. But great deck idea. I wish you the best of luck, and I hope this helped.